Hi, I'm Jacqueline from the Ojai Raptor Center, and today, with the help of two of Ojai Raptor Center's ambassadors, Bob and Lucy, we're going to learn about adaptations. Adaptation is a process where animals and other living things become better suited to their environment. Over many generations, they develop features or traits that help them survive in the environments where they live, and they pass these features onto their babies. These features are called adaptations. There are two main types of adaptations: physical adaptations and behavioral adaptations. A physical adaptation is a feature of an animal's body that helps it survive in its environment, while a behavioral adaptation is something that an animal does to help it survive in its environment. While all birds have feathers and wings, a beak, and 2 feet, these common traits have adapted differently over long periods of time in different kinds of birds to help them survive in the various habitats where they live and eat. For example, ducks and other aquatic birds have special beaks that allow them to strain small insects and plants out of water and mud, while raptors have sharp beaks that enable them to rip apart meat. Hummingbirds have long, thin, straw-like beaks that make it possible for them to drink nectar. Some birds have beaks that are specially adapted to eating seeds, and others have beaks adapted to eating insects. Birds' feet are also adapted to the environment in which they live. Ducks have webbed feet that allow them to paddle through water, while all raptors, or birds of prey, have sharp claw-like talons which allow them to hunt and grab prey. This is Lucy, who's a western screech owl. Lucy can't be returned to the wild because when she was a young owlet, some larger predator attacked her and damaged her eyes. To survive in the wild, Lucy would need better vision in order to navigate flight, hunt, and avoid predators. Small raptors like Lucy aren't quite at the top of the food chain, so they are both predator and prey, meaning they hunt animals smaller than them, but they are also hunted by predators larger than they are. But screech owls have a physical adaptation that allows them to hide from predators, and that's camouflage. Camouflage is a physical adaptation that allows animals to blend into the environment around them, making it more difficult for predators to see them. Which of course means they're less likely to be hunted, and this increases their chances of survival. Western screech owls live in woodland habitats, so this adaptation allows these owls to blend perfectly into that environment, which not only helps them hide from predators, but also helps if they're silently hunting themselves, or just trying to take a nap. Camouflage isn't the only physical adaptation western screech owls have that help them survive in their environment. Just like different birds have different beaks and different feet depending on how and where they live, they can also have different kinds of feathers. Ducks and birds who hang out in water have waterproof feathers that allow them to swim and wade for long periods without getting wet and cold. Western screech owls are nocturnal or active at night. Screech owls and other nocturnal birds have a physical adaptation that allow them to fly silently at night. Have you ever heard the sound of wings flapping overhead during the day? Diurnal birds, or birds that are active during the day, make noise when they flap their wings. But owls and other nocturnal birds' wings barely make any sound when they fly. This is because nocturnal birds like owls have soft, fringed feathers that muffle the sound of the air moving when they flap their wings, unlike the stiff, smooth feathers that diurnal birds have that make noise. It's of course helpful to not be heard by prey if you're hunting at night, and these silent feathers allow owls like Lucy to fly around without being heard by any larger owls that also might be out hunting. The shapes of birds' wings can also differ depending on where the birds live and how they fly. For example, owls have short, round wings that help them fly through dense forest with lots of trees, while eagles and hawks that fly in open spaces have longer wings with finger-like tips that enable them to soar at high elevations for hours at a time. Falcons' pointed wings with stiff feathers make noise when they flap, but allow these diurnal or day-active predators to fly super fast for hunting smaller birds and insects mid-flight. This is Bob, who's an American kestrel, which is the smallest and most colorful falcon in North America. American kestrels are one of just a few raptors in North America where we can tell males and females apart from their plumage or feather color. Most species of raptors in North America have the same color and pattern of feathers, whether they're male or female. The color and pattern of Bob's feathers are inherited traits, meaning all male American kestrels will have these, while all female American kestrels will inherit brown wings like you see in this photo. Some of the coloring on a kestrel, however, can be acquired traits, meaning traits that develop during an individual kestrel's lifetime through interacting with their environment. For example, exposure to sun and a diet high in orange and yellow colored foods can make the feet and the base of a kestrel's beak, called the cere, a brighter color of yellow or orange. Since they're so small, American kestrels are also both predator and prey, meaning they hunt but are also hunted. The color pattern of American kestrel feathers also have a physical adaptation that help protect them from being seen by predators, but it's not with camouflage like Lucy's. Kestrels have these black spots on the feathers on the back of their heads called false eye spots or ocelli. In flight or from a distance, they can look like eyes and can trick a predator into thinking the kestrel is looking right at them rather than away, making the predator think twice about attacking. Other animals, such as pygmy owls and many moths and butterflies, also have ocelli that help them avoid being eaten by predators, including American kestrels. This is called mimicry and is another kind of physical adaptation that helps these animals survive in the environments where they live. The false eye spots don't camouflage these animals into their surroundings, but instead mimic or imitate the look of a creature that is ready to defend itself against attack. Bob must have fallen from his nest site when he was very young, and instead of bringing him to a professional wildlife rehabilitation facility to be raised with other falcons like him, whoever found Bob must have illegally raised him on their own, and so Bob became too comfortable around humans to survive on his own in the wild. An animal's family teaches them important lessons of how to get food and stay safe for survival. Besides not learning how to hunt for his food, Bob never learned other behaviors from his American kestrel family that are necessary for his survival in the wild, like how to recognize predators and communicate with other falcons. So far we've been discussing physical adaptations. Now we're going to discuss the other main type of adaptation, behavioral adaptations. A behavioral adaptation is something an animal does that helps it survive in its environment. Some behavioral adaptations are learned behaviors, or something that an animal learns from their parents, while others are done out of instinct, meaning an animal is born knowing how to do it and doesn't need to be taught. Instinctive behaviors are usually done in response to an environmental change. These behaviors include things such as flying, nesting, and preening, or cleaning their feathers when they get dirty. Preening and making sure their feathers are clean is important for every kind of bird's health, just like brushing our teeth and hair is essential for ours. Birds don't need to be taught how or when to preen their feathers. When they feel dirty, birds begin preening without having to think about it. American kestrels that live in Canada will migrate as far south as Central or South America for winter. Migration is an example of how animals are adapted to seasonal weather changes. Most birds who live in habitats that become freezing cold during the winter have very little food available during this time, so flying away to an area where it's warmer and there's more available to eat increases their chances of surviving. Birds don't have to be taught how to migrate, but do it instinctively when the weather changes. So to review, features that have changed over long periods of time to help animals survive in the environments where they live are called adaptations. There are two main types of adaptations, physical and behavioral. You can read all about the adaptations we discussed today and test your knowledge in the activity workbook, and we hope to see you again soon with the Ojai Raptor Center ambassadors.